Shalom. I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all the Akim doing this work in sincerity and in truth. This is Brother Yakanan coming at you with just a quick lesson. Lord willing, to be edifying. This is just going to be going into prayer and not being a hypocrite. Let's start off with Sirach chapter 1 and verse 29. Be not a hypocrite in the sight of men, and take good heed what thou speakest. So don't be don't say one thing and do another, like to say keep the laws, but you got a bald head, bald face, or you're doing any amount of things. You're staying unclean, you're committing adultery, or any number of things, but you're telling other people to keep the law or boasting that you keep the law, when in reality, like we really can't keep the laws. We need the mercy of Yahweh Shai. That's what's keeping us in this. Not you keeping the laws, but the blood of Yahweh Shai. Him dying for you is what's giving you a mercy or a pass. So I'll continue on. Let's go to Matthew chapter 6. Because some things that I see just in my personal life, it's not anybody in particular. Well, say I know somebody, but they like to show that they're being righteous or whatever. They set up prayer times, which nothing wrong with having prayer times, but it's how you go about it. Like, I don't need to know that you have prayer times. Nobody needs to know that you have prayer times. Nobody needs to know that you're praying. Nobody needs to know this. That's between you and the Most High. So this is Matthew 6 and verse 5, and this is Yahushua speaking. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. And first, a hypocrite, that's G5273. I had to write it down because I got my phone recording. But it means to be an actor, meaning like you're playing a part. Like, you could use these rappers or an actor for an instance. Like one that comes to mind, I'm thinking of Blade, or Wesley Snipes and Blade. Like, he's not really a vampire hunter in real life. He ain't really doing flips and, I mean, he was a martial artist, but you know, he's not doing backflips and flipping around with a sword in real life. No, he's an actor. He's just playing a role. Vampires aren't real. You know, stuff like that. Like, you playing a part. Like, you just playing the part of being righteous, and then people see you doing that, like, oh, he's praying, or oh, oh wow, you know so much about the scriptures. But really, nobody should know that you know anything about the scriptures. You should just be plain old Jerry or whatever your name is. Just some dude up the street. Oh, he's a nice guy or whatever. Oh, he looks kind of different. But it shouldn't be a thing where you're going around praying, whipping yourself or whatever, doing all that. No. Nobody should know you're praying. Like, you should, the scriptures say to pray without ceasing. So if you were to read that, should you be walking around praying all the time? Just no. Let me continue on, because it's gonna say, but thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, And when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which is in and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Matter of fact, let me read that again. But thou, when thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. And you can go if you got a room in your house or whatever, you can go in private, you can pray. But for me, like, I'm not usually in private, I'm usually in public spaces, like, and I'm not gonna ask somebody, hey, you got a closet, you got somewhere I can go pray real quick. I might go to the restroom, like, hey, can I gotta use the restroom real quick, or I might just pray in my mind, like, while I'm just there. I'm not saying anything out loud, but you'll never know that I'm praying. You'll never know that I have set times or anything like that. Like, you'll never know that I send up a prayer at all unless I'm around brothers. But let's see here. Let's go to the next one. This is Matthew 7 and 24, because we're taking, really, you have the scriptures to give you advice, and it's very helpful advice. But this is Yahweh's words, and being that, well, Yahweh's words are pure wisdom, so you should take heed to it. And you taking heed to his words, that's going to be a good chance you're of his elect. So that's what you want to do. You don't want to please the people in this world by looking around like, oh, I'm so, like, these people think I'm so holy, and then you start believing it, or you believed it, and then you got these people convinced that you're some holy person, like, when you're not. You just filthy as the rest of us. But it's like it kind of lost. But you taking heed to Yahweh's words, those are that is a good thing, because it's not for everybody. Yahweh isn't speaking to everybody. First off, just because everybody has access to the scriptures, just because everybody has access to the book and all this, whatever, they have churches around. But you can tell if the Lord is dealing with you, if Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is dealing with you, you can tell through the men that he set up, who from the apostles on down, really from Abba Bivens on down, and to the men that taught the apostles, to the apostles that taught our elders, to our elders that taught us, that you'll know if you understand these scriptures, like, nah, the rest of the world, like, they don't have this right. So that should tell you that, no, not everybody, the Lord's not even dealing with everybody. But anyway, back to, this is Matthew 7 and 24. Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And that rock, that foundation, that's Yahushua, who we set this on. He's the foundation. He's the cornerstone. He is whatever he said to do, we're going to follow it. We're his sheep. We hear his voice. Lord willing, if we of the elect, we hear his voice. We do everything that he said. Even if we go off, he'll still have, Lord willing, still have mercy on us. But continuing on, and the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon the house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Why? Because if we're building a house and we build it, if Yahushua was a architect or a foreman or whatever, and he gave the directions how to build a house, and we built it where he said to build it, and how he said to do it, and what materials he said to use, then by following his directions, then the house ain't gonna fall down. But continuing on, verse 26, and everyone that heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them not shall be likened unto a foolish man which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. So that house that's built upon the sand, that's like a house that the hypocrites built. They heard the words, like you got access to the scriptures, but you're not taking heed to it. You built the house however you wanted to build it. Shoot, Houston here, this place is sinking. Why? Because it's built in a swamp. It's built in the Gulf. Like how do you say? Like the sea level is like slanted, and then the ground here is pretty much like not silt, but it's clay. So whenever it rains, the ground is constantly shifting. Like it's dumb. Why would you build stuff here? People constantly have foundation issues here, which, hey, you build a city on a fucking stupid spot, and that's like you people that don't take heed to the words of Yahushua. You building on something, you don't know what you're building or where you're building it, and it's just gonna fall. But continuing on, this is let's get to Romans 12, and I'll start at verse 1. And before I get into that, us taking heed to this, taking heed to the words of Yahushua, you have to take heed to yourself. Like whether you're in the right spirit, whether you're doing things right. Like the verse I read, Sirach 1:29. Take good heed of what thou speak, because you praying, teaching, going out on the highways and byways, doing that, you're offering up the sacrifice to the Lord, and the Lord is not going to accept an unrighteous sacrifice, an unclean sacrifice. So if you're not doing that, then you might as well not sacrifice at all. Like you might as well. It would have been better for you to have not known this. But this is Romans 12 and verse 1. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, which is your reasonable service. So this, us presenting our bodies, going out on the highways and byways, doing these lessons, reading, constantly studying, and then making sure that we're correct in the doctrine, not just going off, oh yeah, I got it. No, I need to go over and check this again. I need to double check, triple check to make sure I'm right, because what I'm doing, this is, yeah, I got a job. I'm a mover, whatever in the world. But this here, being a teacher, learning how to teach, going out and doing this work, this is my real job. I take this, you should take this serious. I take it serious. It's not something like, oh yeah, okay, whatever. You see people on whatever job you work doing a half-ass job, but this is not something that you want to do a half-ass job. You don't want to be like Cain, offering up some fruit and vegetables or whatever when the Lord commanded for a meat offering. And then with a meat offering, you just can't offer up any kind of meat that you want. You can't offer up a pig. Can't offer up a chicken. No, the Lord he called for what he wanted. And in this, and it can't even have a blemish. So if you offer up a sacrifice, let's say you do offer up a lamb, a turtle dove, an ox, or cattle. Let's say you do that, but it has a blemish. Guess what? It's not accepted. So let's continue on. Because you yourself are the sacrifice now. Yahweh Shai sacrificed his life, and now in return, you have to offer up yourself. Let's see, and to back that up, our prayers are sacrifices. And to back that up, the saints. Let's go to Revelation chapter 5, and let's start at verse 8. And this chapter is going into Yahweh Shai, how he died and unlocked the seven seals, and he took the book from the Most High's hand, and now he's able to shoot. He was able to be that sacrifice. He was worthy to be that sacrifice. He Now he can come and do what he's supposed to do. He can return Israel to their rightful estate. And this is Revelation chapter 5 and verse, I'll start at 7. And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. That's Yahweh Shai taking the book out of the book of life out of Yahweh's hand, who was sitting in the throne. And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden vials full of odors, which are the prayers of the saints. And so our prayers, if we're of the elect, the prayers of the saints are like incense to the Lord. They're sweet smell to the Lord. So you think you giving a blemished sacrifice to the Lord? Do you think that's going to be a smell good to him? No, he's going to reject it. But the prayers of his saints, those are acceptable to him. And I'll close out with this one. So, hey, bugs. Oh well. This is 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 17. Pray without ceasing. So if you're, which we call ourselves the hopeful elect, if you're of the elect, or what we call the hopeful elect right now, you putting up prayers and being in the right spirit and coming correct to the Lord, you sending up them prayers, you should be, it's like, you should be praying constantly. Does that mean you're constantly walking around like these Buddhist monks, or like a monk, like slapping yourself with a whip and whatnot? No. It's like, I can't remember exactly, but roughly paraphrasing, it's the spirit maketh intercession with our spirit to we don't know exactly what to pray for, but the spirit will pray for us what we need. And we should be constantly praying throughout the day. Our groanings, those are a form of prayer. When we see this wickedness and you're not with that, you're like, oh Lord, please put an end to this. That's a form of prayer. When you pray over your food, but you're not constantly praying 24/7, like you're not constantly in the spirit, but still pray without ceasing. But don't let anybody know. Like, nobody needs to know that you're praying. So, hey, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.